So here we're talking about the Stranglers from the City of the Ancients box set. And you can see that there's two different poses for this guy. Because you have a grouping of 6 of them and they're really cool, we wanted to give a little extra variation amongst them. And you can see that each Strangler has his body, his arm, and then he's got his tail and 2 overhead tentacles that come off of his back. And these tentacles and tails actually would work really great for conversions. If you want to put a tentacle arm on one of your heroes, say you get mutated during the course of your game, you could easily use a Strangler tentacle for that kind of conversion work. Also, although the tail and tentacles go to the model right below it, you can actually pretty easily switch which tails and which tentacles go to which guy. You might need to trim the peg down a little bit, but generally they're relatively interchangeable with this particular model. So we'll go ahead and clip off one guy at a time and put him in a little pile. So there's the body of the first one and the arm of the first one. And then we'll clip off his tail and tentacles to put with the same body that we're going to attach him to. Now with any of these guys, if you're feeling like it's harder to attach the models with the pegs, you can always clip the pegs down a little further to get a better connection if you feel like you need to. So that's the first Strangler clipped off, then we'll clip off the second one. So the Strangler is a really crazy creature. It's got a lot of tentacles to lash at the heroes with. And it doesn't do a lot of damage with each hit, but it gets a lot of attacks. And because of its tentacles, anytime it rolls a 6, it actually does even more hits. So they can really hold a hero in place and just slap him around with the tentacles quite a bit, which can be very dangerous if you get surrounded by a couple of mean Stranglers. Okay, so let's see. We'll put this guy together first. So you can sort of dry fit the arm to see how it's going to fit on there and see what the best angle is. And then you can use either super glue or plastic cement. We'll use super glue for these guys. And we'll go ahead and just put a little bit of glue on that nub. Now each of these connections has a shaped peg, so it'll really only fit on one way. And if you want to convert it and have a slightly different pose, you can pretty easily just file down or clip off the peg and then rotate the arm or the tentacle in a different way. I'll go ahead and glue the arm on the other guy while I'm at it. Just hold it in place for a second there. Now Stranglers don't actually have a head. You'll notice they just have a giant mouth right in their torso with a big mass of teeth surrounding it. And I'm going to put these guys on either side of my little cutting board here so that I know which tentacles and tails I was planning on putting on which guys. Alright, so we come back to the first one and we dry fit that. And so that looks like it's just going to glue right in there. Put a little glue in the hole and attach the tail. And then we'll look at the tentacles. Now with these tentacles, I think I'm going to go ahead and just clip down the connecting pin just a little bit more to give it a nice clean fit, without having to worry about filing off extra bits of sprue or loose flash. Put a little bit of glue in each of the shoulders there. And then I can attach and just hold it in place for a second while the glue dries. And this lets me choose how I want to rotate them, so they can be at different angles for different figures. Alright. Set him down there. And then we'll look at the other one. his tail on as well. And these guys, because they're in a few pieces, they actually have very dynamic poses, which makes them look very cool on the tabletop when they're harassing the heroes and coming out of the darkness to attack with their vicious tentacles. I think I'm going to put a little bit more glue on there. A lot of times I find it easier to attach these tentacles by holding the opposite end of the tentacle and pressing the large end into the figure. That way it's a little easier to keep your fingers away from the glue and to get a better fit onto the body. Alright, so we'll go ahead and put a little glue on the bottom of each of these guys' feet. And one of them actually has a flat area on the tail. You can put a little glue on the tail as well. And he stands using his feet and his tail. I'll just hold him down for a second. There you go. And a little bit of glue on the feet of the other one. Hold him in spot for a second. And there you go, the first two tentacles to terrorize the heroes with.